Welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair if you're new here, and today we're gonna cook. I know I do a lot of bake with me's, but I kind of need to break away from that. Not completely, but maybe alternate, like every other month I'll do a bake, and then every other month I'll do a cook or grill or whatever, make a meal with me. Too many sweets, and unfortunately because I live by myself, I end up eating it all, which I don't really want to do. So today we're gonna make some homemade chicken noodle soup. It's actually a recipe my mom gave me that she always made when I was growing up. And the best part of it is homemade noodles, which is the reason why I love it so much. So let's get started on cooking, and I'll talk you through it with a voiceover. So to start, you're gonna either wanna take 3 chicken breasts and cook them and shred them. I took a little bit of an easier way out today and bought a rotisserie chicken and just shredded that. So keeping with a classic traditional chicken noodle soup, you'll need celery, carrots, and onion. So once you get all of the vegetables cleaned up, you're going to want to go ahead and dice them all up. So once all the ingredients have been prepped, you'll put all the vegetables into a pot, and then you'll want to add your shredded chicken. Then you're going to go ahead and add some chicken broth. I usually buy the low sodium, and you can add more than I did, but this is how much I happen to have on hand. And then I normally go ahead and add extra water just to kind of fill the pot up. And now we're going to add some seasonings. Of course, you want some classic salt and pepper. I use pink Himalayan sea salt. And then it doesn't call for it, but I decided to add some garlic powder just because I like it and I thought it tasted good. Once everything's in the pot, you're going to give it a good stir and then just kind of let it heat up. I let it simmer for a little bit before I'm ready to do the noodles. Now when you're ready for the noodles, it consists of all-purpose flour, salt and pepper, and then 2 egg yolks. And you'll mix this together. I do find a fork works best for this. last ingredient for the noodles would be some of the broth from your pot. And you just add enough until the dough becomes gooey. And one other thing, when you start adding the broth, you want to kind of keep stirring it because the broth is hot and you do have an egg yolk in there. You don't want it to cook. So once the dough is almost ready to be rolled out, you're going to want to turn the burner up because you want the pot to start boiling before you add noodles. So you can see here that the dough is like a real sticky texture. This is perfect because you're going to roll it out on a counter, or I'm using a pastry mat with flour on it. So that way when it starts gathering more flour, it doesn't get too dried out. So once you have the dough rolled out, the best thing I find is to use a pizza cutter to cut it into strips. That way they're perfect for the noodle size. So once you're ready to add the noodles, you kind of want to do like one or two at a time, and then you constantly want to stir it after you've added a few so they don't clump and kind of stick together. So once you've got all the noodles added in, you'll want to boil it for about 10 minutes, and then you're going to turn it down to like a simmer for about 30 minutes so the noodles can cook the rest of the way through and kind of soak up that flavor. I always find it great to serve it with a slice of fresh white bread that's been baked, and you can always top it with a little bit of cheese. It doesn't have to, but it does taste good that way. That would be the first kind of cook with me that we did today. Very tasty, yummy, good for the soul chicken noodle soup. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll try to put the recipe in the description box below, but I hope you have a blessed day.